Brahman knows Brahman, and Brahman is the knowledge. Brahman is the self, so the self knows the self, and the self is the knowledge of itself. The reality knows the reality. The unreal, being unreal, has no capacity to do so. To confuse the reality and the unreality, to define the self by that which is not the self, is ignorance. For whom is the ignorance? The self being knowledge, pure consciousness, has no ignorance. Another self is the product of imagination, the product of ignorance. And so, can we say ignorance has ignorance? It just makes no sense. If we inquire as to who is ignorant, ignorance vanishes, and the knowledge of the self, which is true knowledge, shines forth for itself. The knowledge is silence, and it also pours forth in the form of the teachings bestowed by Sri Bhagavan, Adi Shankaracharya, and others. The potency of the spiritual instruction lies in the fact that it is of pure knowledge. It is the power, the peaceful power of reality, before which nothing else can stand. To suppose something else can stand before the reality something of an illusion can stand before the Supreme Brahman. It is only egotism. So in sadhana, or spiritual practice, the focus is upon the dissolution of egoism, the belief in a separated, individualized existence with all its attendant definitions. Distilling the highest essence of the knowledge of the Vedas, Shankara taught Tattvamasi, that you are. That is Brahman, the Absolute Self. Who is the you in that statement. Certainly it cannot be an embodied ego entity. Certainly it cannot be the ignorant notions that confuse the self with the not-self and appears as a pseudo-entity. Certainly it does not refer to a body or to the senses or to the thinking mind. You are that, Tattvamasi. Who is this referring to? To whom has the instruction been addressed? The spiritual instruction is that you are that. You are Brahman. You are the self. You cannot be both an ego and the self. You cannot be both the unreal and the real. So what are you? This knowledge liberates one from all of the imagined bondage. It is the highest form of grace. What is the grace of Ramana? What is the grace of Shankara? It is inexplicable, for it is beyond conception. The knowledge is itself grace. What is this knowledge? It is self-knowledge, of course, not objectified conception. It is not a sense impression, not a thought. Beyond or interior to thought, there is only consciousness. Being thought-free, it is undifferentiated. Being non-objective, it is the self. Sri Bhagavan has made clear that there are not two selves, that one can be ignorant of another. There is only one self. Your existence, that is to say, consciousness, is indivisible, entirely partless. What is the nature of this one self? Shankara says that this one self is that, meaning Brahman. If you are Brahman, what does that mean? If you are Brahman, what does that mean regarding anything else, whatever it is you seem to experience? If Brahman is not that, you are not that. If Brahman does not have that, you do not have that. If Brahman is beginningless and endless, you are without beginning or end. If Brahman is entirely formless, what form do you have? If Brahman is without difference and without duality, so it is for yourself. If Brahman is bodiless, likewise yourself. If Brahman is inconceivable by any thought, likewise yourself. If Brahman is infinite and eternal, so it is with the self. Your inquiry to attain such knowledge, to be absorbed in such knowledge, should be focused on what your identity is. What is the very nature of your existence? Tattvamasi, that you are.